Hi, I'm Mary and welcome to my channel. On my channel, I love to share with you how to make simple, cute things. And lately we've been doing a lot of painting, and today is another painting day. And what we're going to do today is something in honor of St. Patrick's Day, but really it's good for any time of the year. We're going to paint some shamrocks. I have a couple here to show you. There we go. So we're going to do a painting like this one today. So you just need to grab together your supplies, and I'll tell you in a moment what those are. And I hope that you'll enjoy taking a little relaxing time for yourself to paint and just to relax and make something creative. All right, stay tuned. Here's the simple things that you'll need for today's project. You'll need a 5x7 sheet of watercolor paper. This is cold press, or you could do any size that you like. That's just what I chose. You'll need a ruler, a pencil, and an eraser, and some brushes. And today, I don't really need all of these brushes. I'll probably just use this one brown brush. This is a Princeton number 10. And I might also use this very small brush, and I'm sorry, the name has worn away on this one, but it has a nice point that I could use for drawing the stems. So those are probably the two brushes that I'll use today. And you'll need some fresh water, and I'm using my Mungyo watercolor set. So let's get started. So I thought first of all we could do a light sketch of the vase, and I don't know that we need to sketch the shamrocks, but we could. So for the vase, I'll put this up close to the camera. And you may not need to do this, but I kind of do, because when I try to draw something that's symmetrical, meaning the same on both sides, the first side always looks great, and the second side does not match it. So by drawing a few guidelines, this will help. So I put some guidelines in the center just to show where the center of the paper was. And this will be the top part of the vase, this will be the bottom part, and this will be the round part on the sides. Okay, so all I'm going to do here is I am going to get my pencil working. I'm going to just draw an oval here for the top of the vase, something like that. And I'm also going to draw a matching oval for the bottom of the vase. See how those guide marks help? And then I'm going to put in a little flat part here for the top part of the jar, meaning this right here. I guess it's more like a jar than a vase. But I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to just try to make this curve, this one, match this one as much as possible. But you don't have to be exact by any stretch of the imagination. And then the last thing is I'm going to just draw a round area here, like the sides of the jar here, and just to match the bottom, like so. Hey, that looks pretty good. Those guidelines really help me. All right, so now we're going to do the shamrocks, and you can have any number of shamrocks that you want. And I'm pretty sure shamrocks actually just have 3 leaves, not 4. I think a 4-leafed one is a clover. So correct me if I'm wrong on that. Let me know in the comments. So I'm going to just sketch in a few, just a few shamrocks here. That's a pretty big one. And we'll do a few that might be behind part of this. So you can kind of imagine that would be behind it. And maybe we'll do one that's sort of from the side. Let's see. Kind of, well, that's sort of goofy looking. Let's try that over. Let's try that one over. Okay, so we'll draw the top part would be sort of like that. And then this would be kind of foreshortened, something like that. And we'll draw maybe a few smaller ones up here, and maybe a little bit bigger one here. You can draw as many as you want. And of course the side needs some, so we'll just draw some small shamrocks to fill in on the side. And what the heck, we can put a 4-leaf clover in there if we want, so we don't have to follow any rules. Like that, and we'll draw another one because 4-leaf clovers are considered to be lucky, right? Okay, I think that's a good start. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do on this is let's paint some shamrocks first of all. So if you want to, also you can erase your lines a little bit so you don't see them as much, because once you paint over them, then you really can't erase. I'm going to just leave mine alone so that you can see my outlines. But what I like to do for the shamrocks is I like to start out with several shades of green. So just whatever shades of green you have, you can mix and match, you can use them plain, whatever you like. So this is kind of what I would call a Kelly green. That would be what you would see on St. Patrick's Day. So we'll just paint one of them like that. And I think what we could do is paint alternate shamrocks so that they're not touching one another at first. Or if you do want them to touch one another, the paint will probably flow from one to the other, and that's also a beautiful effect. I like it both ways. So like that, and then I'm going to get kind of a much lighter green, more of a lime green. I used to not like this color at all, but now I really love it because I think it's so bright and cheerful. What about you? Do you like kind of like a bright lime green color? And you know what? I'm thinking that this brush that I'm using is actually a little bit too big for this project. I'm gonna switch over to this Princeton 6 round because I feel like that's just a little bit too big. And we got a little blooper right there. I might even just add a little bit of that. So we'll just keep going around and adding different shades of green from the palette. Oh, that's pretty. All different shades of green. So the other part of this would be behind that, would be behind this big one right here. All right, so we'll keep moving along. Here is I think this is called Viridian green. It's quite dark. I think I might add a little, like a, is that the same thing? No, a little turquoise kind of green. I'm gonna add a little bit more blue to it. Blue and green look beautiful together. So for this one, I will do over here, like so. I think in the end, I'm going to wish that I had erased my pencil marks more. I should listen to my own advice. That's okay. All right, and let's do another of this little catchy lime green color. And like so. Okay, how is yours going? I hope that you're following along with me and enjoying giving it a go. So here's another little, not clover, but shamrock. I need to really research the difference between a clover and a shamrock because honestly, I don't think I know. but I just know that shamrocks are usually 3-leafed. And let's see, we'll work on this big one here. This is kind of the feature one right here. Oh, I like that. And I like how the colors are running together. And then we've got one more, and let's see here. This will be a little bit more of a muted green here. How about you? Do you like mixing up your colors? Like if you're going to have a bouquet of, say, pink flowers, do you like to make some of them a little brighter and some a little more muted? Or do you like to have more of the sameness through your flowers? I always like to mix it up. I just think it adds a lot of interest, but it's pretty either way. All right, so we're going to let that dry, and while we're going to let that dry, we can start working on the jar. So I do think I better erase my guide marks, or I'm going to be sorry if I don't. So we'll get those erased carefully, very carefully. Okay, and I think I'm going to erase my jar just a little bit too, since I'm regretting not erasing on the top. Okay, so now I thought we could use like, I call it a Payne's gray, which is, it's bluish gray, but you could use a gray, you could use a watered down black, you could use blue, and what we're going to do is we're going to do the outside. Whoops, I'm using this large brush again. I want to get back to my other brush. So, but what we're going to do is the sides of the jar. We're going to get that defined. So just like so, and we'll do the same thing on the other side, like that. And then we'll do a little bit of this at the bottom. Need not be perfect. And then we'll do some here at the top of the jar. A little bit of that green is running into it, but that's okay. So I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this before I go any further. So I'll be right back. This is pretty dry now, so I thought what we could do is add the water to the jar, and I'm going to use a light blue that I have. I've got one that's like aqua color, but I don't want it too aqua-ish. Just water down. So for that, we'll do kind of like this. This edge will be the other side, the back side of the jar. And then I'll do a little more definition here on the front side, something like that. And maybe I'll just add just a tiny bit of blue to the top and to the inside of the jar. We'll give it a little color like that. And in the end, I forgot to mention that you could do some line work on this with a fine tip black marker, like a micron pen or Pentel or something like that. So we will be adding some features of the jar and of the shamrocks. Okay, so I think this will have to dry. And then we could start drawing some stems, and we might just have to come short of the vase right now, or the jar right now. So I'm going to use this small round brush that has a little point to it. And I'm going to get a dark green, and we'll just put in a little line like so. And we'll do a few more. You can do different shades of green for the stems as well. The thing is to have a very light touch when you do this, or your stem might be a little thicker than you want it to be. So when this is dry, we'll put the stems further down into the water. Let's see. We had a boatload of rain yesterday here. And today it's just a nice cloudy day. Let's see, what am I missing? This one here, I want to give that a little different color. So this one, we'll have it cross over here. And let me see, I think this is pretty dry now, so I think we could actually, that's okay. We can extend the stems already. Like so. So we should end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8. So we're missing half of the stems. So let's go back and add those in. This one, I'm going to have it be like that. And it will be kind of like that. And then there's this one is missing. Let's see, that one, oops, I'm not crazy about that. It's one thing about watercolors, you can kind of blot up your color if you don't like it. Okay. All right, so I don't think we have to have exact, I mean, who's going to be counting, right? So we have that, and we have this. Oh, this one needs to come down more. Like so. And we'll have it going like so in the water. Okay, so now I think that's good on the stem. So now I'm going to go back to the watercolor that I've got, and I hope I'm not going to regret this, but I'm going to mush this up just a little bit so you get the feeling of water, kind of like that. So it's not so, you just get the feeling of the water in there, and the stems aren't so distinct. Okay, so now I think we're ready to add our marker. I'm going to grab my marker here. I have a Pentel. It's called a liquid gel ink, and I believe it's a fine point. It's a 0.7 And this pen is not waterproof, but it's water resistant, and it works okay if you allow the paint to pretty much dry. So now we can go back and add some details in. And so the first thing I want to add is just maybe a rough outline of the jar. And just loose. You just want to do loose lines. You don't really want it to be just super exact. Just make it sketchy. And so we'll do something down here like this. But we won't cross. Well, I guess actually we should cross over because the jar would have these little lines that you would, if you're going to screw a lid onto it. So we'll just put a few of those lines in there, give it that look. And then we'll do some sketchy marks out here. And some sketchy marks out here. And then down here. And this is where we'll also do like the oval down here. Like this, and maybe a little, just like that. And oh, and the water, we want to define the water a little bit more. So we'll just go kind of around there and something like this. I think when you add the line work, at least for me, it feels like it brings the painting alive. So we've got that. And now we can add some line work to the shamrocks. So what I did in here is I put a center on each one of the shamrocks. It adds some depth to it. And I guess I could have done that with paint, but I think I'm going to use my pen for this. So I'll do that. Try to vary up the shape and the size. I think all these little extras bring it to life. There we go. And then we can loosely outline the shamrocks. So I'm not holding my pen super tight, I'm holding it above, and we'll just loosely outline the shamrocks. Get this big one in here. Just some little wavy lines is what I'm doing. This is so fun. I love this part. When I first started doing watercolor, I just wanted to do so much this kind of work where it's just sort of sketchy and not super realistic, but so cute. Okay, we got that. Now we could stop there, or we could add a little bit of lines to the shamrocks like we did here. I think I'll add a few lines to the shamrocks, but maybe not as many as on this one. So I'm going to just add just a few curved marks like that. Maybe a little bit more there. So just a few like that. I would like to know if you like to do line work in your art as well. Sometimes I can't help myself, and occasionally I will regret that I added line work, but most of the time I really like it. All right, so then the other thing that we could add to this would be a little shadow like that, and I think that would be fun to do. So for that, I'll use my bigger brush, And I'm going to just use some of this Payne's Gray, I think, and just give it a little definition here of the shadow to kind of anchor the jar. I might even add just a little of that blue in. Why not? There. And I think that's really good. And I think I'll stop here, but you could also, if you wanted to, you could add a background like I did here, a yellow background. And I do think that's very pretty. And I think I'll stop here though, so you can see it both ways. Oh, and I also noticed here that I've got one little shamrock that I didn't do the line work on. There we go. So a cute jar of shamrocks. I hope you really enjoyed painting this with me. I really, really appreciate you watching and being here. And if you like my video and think that I earned it, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, and also that you subscribe to my channel. And please tell me in the comments how you like my tutorials. I'm always wanting to improve them, and I will take your suggestions into mind. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time.